lounging, son.
As he alluded to last week. And this week we have a shit ton of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about what we read last week like we always do. We'll talk about what we're excited for next week. The book we're talking about this week is Klaus by Grant Morrison and Dan Mora from Boom Studios. Before we get into that, though, let's talk about what else. Did you read anything last week? I know Reckless came out. We talked before we started recording. You only read a couple chapters. So we'll talk about that another time. But Reckless was fucking dope. I'm so glad it came out when it did because it's going to be on my top 2020 graphic novels. I'm glad that it made them.
It's going to be a tie between Pulp and Reckless.
Oh, they're both on it. It's going to be Pulp, Reckless, Cruel Summer. That little teaser for you for some of my picks.
In that order?
I think it's kind of just one, but Reckless would be my favorite of the three for sure.
I read, like I said, New Mutants 14. Great. Mm-hmm. New writer, Vita Ayala. Vita Ayala also did a story for Wolverine, Black, White, and Blood. Dude, I love that series, by the way.
Oh, this one was better than the first issue. That was really dope.
This issue, dude, Chris Claremont Madripoor story.
Dude, that was the best. That was so good with Kate Pryde, and she's just a complete fucking badass. I fucking love Kitty, dude. I hate calling her Kate. She's Kitty Pryde to me.
She'll always be Kitty. She'll always be Kitty to me, or Shadowcat. But man, I'm really loving the series. It's exactly what you want out of a Wolverine short stories, which is literally in the title, Black, White, and Blood, and it's great. It's immensely bloody. I don't know if just the fact that they contrast the black and white with only blood makes it even more bloodier, but man, it is freaking good. It's good. Yeah. And the creative teams they have on there, it's fantastic. Salvador LaRocca, right, drawing Wolverine, is sick.
Oh, dude, as Patch, I fucking love that version of Logan when he's Patch. And you know what? The Greg Land stuff. A lot of people talk shit about Greg Land, he traces over images. I don't think he does. I love his work when he drew Nightwing back in the 90s, late 90s or early 2000s rather. He did a book called Sojourn at CrossGen Comics, which no longer exists, obviously. Yeah. But his fucking black and white line work, dude, that battle with Sabretooth, that shit was dope.
That shit was great, dude.
I thought the first issue was okay. I didn't think it was amazing. But then you hit me with the second issue, and I'm just like, dude, this is what I wanted in the first issue. So it's really good.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's I don't even I've done very little research. You don't have to tell me much about a Wolverine series other than Black, White, and Blood for me to be interested.
Exactly.
But I don't even know who the creative teams are coming up in the following issues. I don't even know. The thing is, it could literally be anybody because everybody has a Wolverine story to tell.
Mm-hmm. You didn't see that at the end? It tells who's in 3.
No, I didn't see it. I saw it, but I didn't
Okay, all right. So I won't.
I want to be surprised because I didn't know Chris Claremont was going to be in this issue, and when I saw it, yo, the homie. But you know what I mean? I love it. I recommend it to everybody, dude. We freaking all we had was the hidden variants because the entire delivery that we got was all for pull listers. So we just got 4 hidden variants on the rack, and I was just damn, man, I want to suggest it, but you got to pay. This is freaking. It's the hidden variant, but it's every time I recommend it to people, it's been great, especially to old some of the older comic fans because Wolverine's changed over the last 15 years. There's no that. Wolverine has definitely changed over the last 15 years, and I'm not saying it's necessarily bad because I liked his whole being and who he was during him as the head of the Jean Grey school, when he was the headmaster. And I like that. Jason Aaron's run. I like that. It's all changed. But, this particular series, especially since Wolverine's history is so long, you can literally make up stories and pepper it in there wherever you want. I think this is good for Wolverine purists and older Wolverine fans. I loved it. Shit.
Yeah, I love anthologies, and I like those quick little stories that you can just because it's you don't get single issues like that anymore. We don't get single issue stories, so it's cool when you get an anthology. You get some creators that normally either are returning or don't normally work on the character, like we were saying with the Batman Black and White, right? Trad Moore drawing Batman. Like, we didn't think that, right? The Superman Red and Blue that's coming out with Wes Craig. So it's cool that we get to see creators that don't normally work on characters work on them. So I think the second issue was really dope. Obviously, I really liked Metal 6 this week. I thought that was cool. Except I don't like, there was a panel with Batman when he's talking to Harley that I'm just like, Snyder, why? He's like, language, kiddo, language. I was like, Batman would never say that. Like, it just felt weird. But whatever. I mean, that's just me being nitpicky. But
Jaro,
Jaro,
dude. Yeah, I love that guy.
I'm really loving Metal. I'm excited for the next couple of weeks, the one shots that are coming out, the Secret Origin,
the final battles of the DC universe. That one looks really super interesting. Like I said, when we were talking about Infinite Frontier, this has panned like I said, if you just strip away all the ridiculousness of it, there's like building blocks here that Snyder is putting into place that I think is gonna move DC forward, and it's great, dude. I mean, Greg Capullo needs no more praise than he already gets, but the art in it was fantastic, and I really like the whole Wonder Woman taking center stage thing. That's been fantastic too. It's cool. I like it. I can't stress enough how much my attitude has changed about it since the beginning of it to now. You know what I mean? And DC metal, the death metal has been easily one of the surprises for me, at least, because I thought it was just going to be as lackluster as the first metal was. You know what I mean?
I mean, I didn't hate the first metal, but yeah, I get it. It didn't end necessarily strong, but I didn't get the
landing.
Yeah. You're right. But what I wanted to say before I almost forgot, that book Post Americana. Did you check that out by Steve Scroce? The Image book?
No, I've been meaning to.
Okay, check that out.
Is it good?
I can't say anything about it now. It's amazing. It was fucking so good. It was such a good first issue, and it was unexpected. Like, I know he's a great creator, obviously. He did a lot of the storyboarding for the Matrix movies with Wachowskis. But this comic, man, I was blown away. I was like, this fucking art is amazing. This like post-apocalyptic world is fucking really cool. And the last page is so disturbing, and not in a way that like you would think by what you're hearing me say right now. Like, it's just like it's unsettling. That's all I'll say. But it's really good. I highly recommend it. Anybody listening, watching, Dylan, you especially, I think pick up that book and check it out because it was really good. I think and then the Immortal Hulk issue was obviously really cool. Thing and Hulk.
Did you read the Immortal Hulk Christmas special?
Yeah, the wordless. Yeah, the wordless comic that had nothing to do with fucking King of Black. I don't understand why they keep doing this. Like, all these fucking tie-ins. Like, I'm gonna bitch about it for now. Now that you brought it, I wasn't gonna say anything, but you said it first. So, it's almost every fucking tie-in to King and Black has nothing to do with King and Black. Like, this literally didn't need the branding of King of Black. You could have taken a couple things out, and it would just be an Immortal Hulk Christmas special, right? And then I think I didn't read Black Cat, so I don't know about that. But The Union, that book that came out, that was originally supposed to be an Empire tie-in. All of a sudden, now it's King of Black. Then Atlantis Attacks #5, the last issue in a miniseries. You're gonna label that King and Black, and all it is the last page. It's just shit like that I'm like, come on, dude. Like, this is really fucking ridiculous.
Honestly, the way everything's kind of panning out as far as King and Black goes, for me anyway, for casual Venom reader, literally gonna read only the King and Black mainline and Venom. I feel like those are the only things that you really need to read.
I will say that the Symbiote Spider-Man miniseries that's tied into it, the first issue I felt like was not really tying into it too much, but the second issue was important. There's something with Black Knight in that issue that like makes sense why he's having a one shot that's tied into King of Black. So that was pretty cool. I don't want to spoil it. I mean, I can if you want, but
I'll pick it up.
Yeah, just read that one issue. I don't even think you need to read the first one. So yeah, I mean, fucking tie-ins, dude. It drives me crazy sometimes.
So I also read something this week that I just read it. I mean, we talked about it. But I read Rorschach 3, and it's pretty fucking good. it's pretty good. Rorschach 3 was really good.
I mean, Tom King's a great writer, so it doesn't shock me. Like I never like I'll go on record right now, dude. I never said, nor did I think that the book would be poorly drawn or poorly written. I just think that it shouldn't exist because it's shitting on a creator that got essentially fucked over by the publisher with a loophole in the contract. So again, doesn't surprise me. It looks beautiful. I flip through it. I don't ever read it, but like as I'm like unboxing the delivery or I'm doing the pulls, like there's books that I don't read, but like I'll flip through, and I love Jorge Fornet's art, so it's hard for me to not pick that book up because of it. So.
Yeah, but the first issue, I was like, this is trash. Second issue, okay, a little better, but this third issue, pretty solid. That was a pretty good issue. I went into it like this is gonna be trash, and by the end of it, I was like, whoa. That was pretty fucking good. Yeah. But
it pisses me off that it's a Rorschach book because there's a huge part of me that still really is curious about the book because I want to see what he's writing. I mean, I love his writing, dude. Tom King's one of my favorite writers, so it's very, very difficult for me to not.
Yeah, no, and I respect your cause, but I will always tell you how the issue is. Just trade with it and borrow it. That way, you're not paying anybody's money.
You want to talk about Klaus?
Yeah. Let's talk about Klaus, Grant Morrison, Dan Mora.
I think it's a really cool look. I read this when it came out. To be honest with you, I read the first 2 issues and then I took it off my pull.
I read probably the first 3 issues, and I realized as I was reading it, like, wait a minute, I never finished this. I never finished it, and so it was a nice little pleasant surprise, like just going forward, like, oh, this is what I missed out on. Klaus is you always hear Santa origin stories, but you never hear about Santa origin stories like this. Like, no, that movie,
fucking warrior, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's a wild man. Yeah, okay, you know that movie Klaus on Netflix? At first glance, I thought it was this, but it wasn't. It was. I mean, the Klaus movie on Netflix, brilliant. Oh my god, such a cute movie to show your kids. Such a cute movie, absolutely adorable. I loved it. Like feels, but this. Not for the kids.
No, this ain't for the kids, homie. No, this is Grant Morrison. This is Grant Morrison Santa. So I think right off the bat, you put Grant Morrison in Santa, you know you're not getting a kid-friendly book by any means. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But honestly, like, looking at this art, like, makes me super excited for Dan Mora on Detective Comics.
Yeah.
Because, dude, some of the stuff in here is very Batman-esque. Like,
this isn't Elseworlds. This is Elseworlds Batman, dude. That's what that is.
Yeah.
It literally is. I mean, you could essentially make Batman living in the wilderness, and that's him. He's a fucking wild man. He's got fucking a wolf. Look at that. I mean, the cover, dude. Got his fucking wolf Lily just chilling, bloody mouth. I mean, this book is, like I said, I put up to the first issue because I'm like, Grant Morrison is writing Santa Year One. I don't really need to know more than that to check this fucking book out. Like, I was like, why is he writing a Santa book? It's got to be good. And that was my first introduction to Dan Mora. So this is going back like what, 3.5 years ago, maybe. It's been a while. I don't know when this was first published. Let me double check. Oh wow, 2015. And so it's about 4.5 years ago. And I picked up the first 2 issues. It's not that I didn't like it, but again, like every once in a while, my pull list gets rather large, and even if I'm in the middle of something, I will just start cutting stuff before it gets too far into, especially if it's a mini series, before it gets too far in, because I'm like, okay, what's worth it? I have 2 issues I spent $6 or $8 on. Do I want to spend another 20 something? Like, what's the balance? Because the trade will be 20, so I might as well just get the trade. I didn't get it, and I haven't read it until you brought up reading it for the podcast, and I remembered the first 2 issues, and then as I was reading, I'm like, fuck, dude, I kind of wish I didn't drop this, because this is a really good book. This is a very interesting and unique take on Santa. I mean, let's talk about those pages where he goes into the woods, and he fucking, like, the imagery of him talking to the spirits, and the fucking
his psychedelic trips, dude.
You know you're in a Grant Morrison comic when you see the fucking acid trip that fucking Santa Claus is fucking on, dude. Like, it's so crazy. It's
Hey,
insane.
it's true though. It's true. This book is great. I really like how he incorporates like well-known Santa lore into this and kind of like shapes it into his own. Like the Baron's son is a little shit, right? But he's the one that's taking all the toys from the kids. So none of the poor kids have toys. So what does Santa do? Gives all the poor kids toys, and like this is how the lore starts, and how it like, this is where it comes from, and how he, and then later on it gets revealed that he was the former like elite guard of that kingdom, and he loved the people, and then it turns into what he sees into it now. And then, dude, just like the intricacies and how his like origin is written is just fantastic. It's not like, oh, he's just like, he was just a jolly fat man that all the people loved, and but no, it's like there's feeling behind it. There's like an emotion behind it that is just, dude, I love it. It's Santa Batman.
Yeah, it's the Batman who makes toys.
The Batman who is jolly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love that, like, after that acid trip, right? And, like, you end that first issue, like, he wakes up and there's, like, all these toys. And he, in his fucking, whatever, his dream state, right? He just creates all these toys. He's like, what do I do with them, right? And he sees, because, like you said, like, the town is devoid of all joy. And he remembered, like, because he obviously, like, it alludes to him having lived there and returning after being gone for years. And that's kind of cool too, like, to like see that's also his mission, is to bring joy back. Yeah. Right? To bring joy back to this town during the time of Yuletide. The added layers of like his childhood and how he got, or his mom was like frozen. His mom was frozen. His mom was frozen, and then he gets saved by the old Baron of the town, and then becomes friends with the daughter of the Baron, and that's where the new Baron like his hatred goes back to like when they were kids, right? Because he loved the Baron's daughter, and somehow gets him pushed out.
The new Baron poisons the old Baron.
So poisons the Baron, and he frames Klaus. And so Klaus, gets kicked out, and then he becomes the wild man and lives with the wolves. And you see, and what I really loved is how he becomes ingratiated with wolves, and why he has this pet wolf, Lily, is because when they had gone into the woods when he was a soldier for the old Baron, and he saves one of the puppies because they're gonna kill the adult wolves, and that puppy ends up fucking being his bat hound. His bat hound. Ace of bat hound. You know what I mean? Like it's Batman. So, but yeah, I think
his Jonathan the Wolverine.
Yeah. But it's just this is just such a fucking it's such a mature look and an interesting take that I never could have foreseen. I never would have gone. I don't even know that, like, if you told me, oh, come up with an idea for Santa Year One, I don't know that this is something that would have come to mind. Like, he's kind of like a barbarian. Also, like, if you look just at the cover, like, he's bloodied. He's got a fucking dead deer hung over his shoulder and stuff. Like, it's just, it's nothing like you could have imagined. And even the Krampus.
I didn't know that was coming.
Neither did I. And I was so taken aback because, like, the Baron, the way he comes into power is like, there's this mysterious voice that keeps talking to him, and we don't know who it is. Because I read this all last night, so it's like very fresh in my mind. I remember like seeing it, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't even know that this was where it was gonna take us. And that Krampus is creepy as fuck. Yeah. Totally intimidating. And Klaus, the battle, dude, is just fucking dope as fuck.
I love how, because, like, from what I know about the Krampus is literally just like barely anything, right? All I know is that he takes children and puts them in his bag, and I love how he was in this comic. He was trying to put kids in the bag. Yeah. I was like, it's great, dude. It's so good. And like I said, like, throughout this entire run, like, there's little seeds being planted for the whole lore of the Santa Claus, of what we know of him today. You know what I mean? And like, I never would have pictured the big bad for Santa would be the Krampus, but it makes absolute sense. He's the anti-Klaus.
Yeah, and dude, you're talking about the seeds being planted from just like the little, like not even really addressing what he's doing, but him dropping the gifts down the chimney, right?
Yeah.
Or him getting the letters that the little kids are writing to him. Like, he's becoming like this mythical character. People know him, but they don't know that it's him that's doing this at first, right? And the fucking Baron is pissed off because like all this shit's going down. Like, he doesn't want any toys. Like, you see it in the beginning when Klaus makes his return and the soldiers stop him and they see a little boy playing with a stone, right? And they're like, "Is that a toy?" And they try to stop him. He's like, "It's not a toy. It's a stone." You know what I mean? Leave the kid alone. And that's what like kicks off, Klaus just kind of like doing what he does.
And it was a stone, but it was actually, from what I saw, I thought it was a lump of coal, because that's another thing that's really crazy about the story too. It's like all the men are all in the coal mines working themselves to death, and like, it just takes away from the happiness. Like, so there's this whole revolt thing that happens, dude. It's really well written, and I would never think that this is our Santa. But it's our Santa now. Like, I don't know about you, but this is what I'm going to tell my kids. This is how did Santa Claus come to be, Dad? Come here, child. No,
Let me show you.
Let me show you.
I kind of want to show Riley. I'm like, this is dope. This is like a dope Santa. He's a badass. What else would you? I mean, I never would have thought those words would ever leave my mouth. Santa is a badass. It's crazy, but it is true. This fucking book is so, like you said, so well written. The art is phenomenal. Everything about it, the coloring too, is like really stand out. Like, the flames feel like flames in this book when you look at it.
The cold feels cold when you look at it. Like, there's a really big contrast in the weather, and it's great.
You know what I thought was interesting too? He doesn't have his reindeer yet, but he has a pack of wolves, and his sleigh is
like made of crystal.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I wish he actually had wolves instead of fucking reindeer. That'd be way fucking cooler if Santa was riding around a sleigh led by a pack of wolves.
See, but he probably had to change it because it costs more to feed wolves than it does reindeer. Think about it. You got to feed reindeer meat as opposed to
cost-effective Santa.
Yeah, it's a cost-effective solution. He probably still has the wolves. Probably still has Lily, but he'd rather feed just one wolf as opposed to a pack.
Fair enough. And then the love interest too, like the old Baron's daughter, who then married this evil son of a bitch, right? Yeah. Had a kid with him.
Who looks like the Joker.
He did. He looked like a Joker with no makeup.
Yeah.
I agree. So this is Batman.
This is Batman. This is
Elseworld. It really is. I know we keep saying it, but it is true. There is a lot of similarities. But the when he goes back to the girl and like how she realizes that it's Klaus because of the toy bird that was brought to life, and he had carved her one when they were kids. I thought that was really interesting. And she had loved him, but then he left, and the new Baron put that spell on her to fall in love. And once he dies, you kind of it kind of seems like they might get together, but they don't. But he kind of, in a way, adopts the young boy, right? Yeah. And I like towards the end how you see her getting older, but he's not. So now where he has aged, his aging has slowed down. Yeah. So that's I think where you start to see like the magic of him, because it doesn't really show that he has magical powers, except I guess he creates the toys and he can kind of bring life to toys, which is not in Santa lore. It's nowhere have I ever seen that he brings toys to life. He just creates toys, right? Yeah. So I think there's more Klaus stories. I'd be kind of interested to check them out. Yeah. I don't know how much more there is, but it definitely leads. It opens up a lot of possibilities to see like where this goes to actually become the Santa that we do know. Or maybe this becomes a Santa that is similar to the one we know, but also different as well.
Yeah, because this is one of those things where it's like it's kind of like a grim fairy tale, right? How over the years it turns into something different, but it all stems from these kind of like really dark like stories to keep children out of the woods and keep kids from being bad. So I feel like this is like, I feel like Grant Morrison was kind of in that mind state. Like, I'm gonna write this grim as hell, but there's gonna be all the things that make it a Santa story. Oh, I this has nothing to do with what I just said, but I just turned to a page, one of my favorite pages. It's with the Krampus when he first makes his appearance, right? Yeah. And he's dragging that body on fire. And then he uses the body to hit people.
Everything about this. I mean, and like, people, if you read Once and Future and you like that book, Dan Moore's the artist on that too. And like, this is, you know, a precursor to that. That's what landed him that gig with Karen Gillan, I guarantee you, was his work on Klaus. You know, you're talking about like liking that page. What I really like too is how he at the end, when he brings the tree, he carries the fucking tree and like sets it up with all the lights and like watching the townspeople come together. I thought that was a really cool image to see as well. But I mean, yeah, you see the contrast of like Santa and all the good he's doing. You see the fucking Krampus and how fucking what an evil son of a bitch he is, and the Baron and how the Baron was kind of, I almost felt like he was being infected by the Krampus's influence. Like maybe he wasn't as evil as he was after he made that deal with the Krampus to win over his fucking the chick. You know what I mean? Like that's
No, it's crazy. Like, I mean, the characters here are really awesome. I really like the in some characters, like especially with the Baroness and the son, the Jonas.
Yeah.
Like, how he's an absolute fucking terrible little shit. But it was all because of lack of knowledge of being boxed in, not like being around kids to help balance them out. Like, you know what I mean? And it's crazy. I love it. I love the change. It's you know how even like he's basically there's a line in it where he's like, no kids are all bad, like naughty, like, you know, like they don't stay like that. And I'm like, that is an excellent freaking thing to teach kids. Like, you may be bad now, but you're not gonna be bad forever. Violence aside, I would definitely like read this to kids.
Violence aside, which is a lot of it, but yeah. I agree.
Yeah, but does that make me a bad future parent? Like,
no,
like,
no, because cool. I mean, part of me wants to go out there right now, read it to my kids.
It's like, come here, it's Christmas time.
You want to read a story about Santa? Here we go, Klaus. I highly recommend it, man. I'm so glad. I don't know how this eluded me when we're coming up with like things for books on our list, and when I saw you put that, I was like, dude, that's perfect. Drops the week of this is going to come out a couple days before Christmas. It really is a great story, and I love Grant Morrison. He's one of my favorite writers. It's funny that I didn't even intend to, but I was reading Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol, and then so I went from that fucking craziness, and then I picked up Klaus, and I was like, oh, this is kind of like, it's a nice way to unwind. After reading the heaviness of his Doom Patrol, and now to read his Klaus, it's like completely fucking different. But yeah, I highly, highly recommend this book to anybody that's a fan of Grant Morrison, anybody that's a fan of Dan Mora. It's, you know, and it's Boom Studios. This is Boom before they really started, I would say. This is a precursor to all the fucking hype that has surrounded Boom, starting with Once and Future, Something's Killing the Children, and all the other books that have been coming out from there.
Yeah.
So
no, Boom Studios, dude. I tell people, like, people come in like, oh, what do you read that isn't Marvel and DC? And one of the first things that comes out of my mouth, Boom Studios. Like, and like, you know, just go read Boom Studios. If you don't read Image already, read Image. But Boom Studios is fresh ideas, dude. Yes. Everything they've been coming out with, like this last half of the year, has been awesome.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do moving forward too.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I just hope this gives them the confidence to like push out more stuff like this, because like I said last week, like if they maintain this kind of momentum, bro, like they're gonna start stealing shares from the big two in Image, and it's gonna be good. I mean aside from what Nick said about them going broke, but still.
I mean what I would say that, but then watch when Saga comes back.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
you know what I mean? Saga's going to come back, and Image is going to go right back up. Scott Snyder's new book is coming out in March. Noctera, the Kickstarter we backed.
Yeah.
So, I think Boom still has kind of an uphill battle to climb, but they are luring very, very high-profile talent there, and they're artists that they kind of, I don't want to say groom. That's bad. But the artists that they
cultivate.
That they're cultivating are really, really good. I mean, I don't know if Dan Mora, what he was doing before Klaus, but this was the first book I discovered his work on. Simone DeMeo, I discovered at Boom Studios. There's a couple other artists. The names are eluding me right now, but you know they have really talented artists, and now those artists are getting jobs at fucking Marvel and DC. You know, Simone DeMeo was doing Champions. Dan Mora is doing Detective Comics. Simone DeMeo is also doing the Future State Harley Quinn. So I think that's a testament to like some of these talents that they're discovering. You know, so I'm very, very excited to see what else they come out with.
No, it's I'm looking forward to it. So apparently there is more Klaus stories, and the next one in the series is called The New Adventures of Santa Claus.
Okay, yeah, I gotta check that out.
We gotta read it.
Yeah, we gotta read it. I gotta read it. Let me know when you're gonna read it, and I'll try to pick it up too, and then we'll just talk about it briefly on the podcast because
I'm down.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's literally Batman.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, but no, it's good. You know,
the Batman who's jolly, like
the Batman who is jolly.
Yeah,
like I just can't like for how fit this guy is. I just don't understand how Grant Morrison is going to execute him getting fat.
Yeah. How does he come from this and then he just lets himself go, dude? Like
elves.
I mean, I didn't even.
Dude.
I mean, maybe he gets. Oh, maybe it's a beer belly, dude, because he was drinking ale at the beginning. He's like, man, this is watered down. Where's the good stuff? So maybe that's what starts it off, and then he's like, oh man, he doesn't want to be an alcoholic, so then he goes to milk and cookies. Maybe that.
Okay, yeah. Milk and cookies.
He
goes to a couple meetings, does his 12 steps, and then now it's milk and cookies.
Yeah. Switching from beer to milk. That's what he's gonna do. But yeah, like we said, it's a really good book. You guys should check it out. Before we get out of here, though, let's talk about what we're excited for next week. I think we already kind of talked about it. That Secret Origin death metal book. I'm very stoked for. I heard it. I've heard from two different writers at DC that it's an important book. Williamson and Scott Snyder both told me. So I can only guess what's going to happen in this book, but I feel like this will be the origin of the new multiverse. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what else? Like Jeff Johns is also co-writing, or he's one of the writers.
So that might that's going to be crazy. What else? Wolverine 350. I'm excited for that. Or Wolverine number 8. Oh wait, that's not this week. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Stupid. No, I'm jumping ahead. Yeah, but X titles. I'm finally gonna dive back into the X titles at post X of Swords. Doctor Doom number 10.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for another issue of Family Tree. Sea of Stars. There's a lot of good indie stuff coming out. Scumbag number 3. Philadelphia 11.
Yeah. You know what I'm really stoked for is King Size Conan, because Steve McNiven is drawing an old Roy Thomas Conan script. And since Steve McNiven has been really emulating like Barry Windsor-Smith into his art, I think that'll be cool. And then Kevin Eastman is drawing he's writing his first Marvel story. He's doing a Conan. Yeah, so that'll be fucking really dope. And even more fucking awesome, the conclusion to Gideon Falls, the 80-page fucking conclusion, dude. I can't even wait to see how Jeff Lemire closes out this insane fucking book that he's been doing that has kept me confused for years now.
I still need to continue on. I only read volume 1. Pretty good so far, though. The art is really unsettling. But that's how it's supposed to be. Like I feel like it's only going to get worse. Going forward.
It's getting worse. It's worse.
What else? Oh, King in Black number 2 comes out.
Oh, that's right. King in Black 2. I forgot to. Yeah, it eluded me. I don't know why, but
yeah.
I think it's a relatively. Yeah, I think it's I'm not reading Department of Truth, so I'm waiting for the trade for that. Yeah, well.
The second issue was whatever, but
I
the
didn't think it was
issue,
bad.
Holy shit.
I didn't think it was bad. I don't know why I didn't read the second issue when it came out, but before I knew it, the third issue was out, and I'm like, Fuck. I'll just wait for this. And now the 4th issue. Like, I don't feel like catching up on it. Like, my pile, I have over 200 singles that I haven't read. That because I went to like Spiro's and I split a short box with Mario, and then I've been buying like we had collections at the shop that Nick bought, so I've been like I keep finding stuff in there that I want, so I keep taking those too. I gotta stop. I gotta draw the lines somewhere, dude. It's out of control. And then the trades, I have like probably 25 trades that I haven't read. And why do you think my Goodreads list is so fucking big?
Yeah, that's.
I'm trying to power through, you know. We'll see how much I get done before the end of the year. 78,000 pages read, and it's not including all the single issue comics.
Exactly. That's why I was looking at my numbers. It's like this isn't even nowhere near close to what I've actually read, though.
Yeah, exactly. Because you could essentially put every single 6-issue arc in an ongoing as a trade, right? Yeah. I mean, you could put that on the list. I did that a couple of times when I caught up on a series or whatever, and I would take 6 issues home. I'm like, well, I read the trade, so, and then I'd put that on there too, because it technically is, it's the same thing. So
these next 2 weeks are actually pretty heavy.
I mean, there's not too much. I don't know what's coming out from the other publishers, but I know that DC, like, the invoice for the next 2 weeks it was almost the same as 1 week from them. So DC doesn't have a whole lot coming out these last 2 weeks, but I still a lot of cool stuff to check out. I'm very excited. Like I said, Gideon Falls. I have no fucking clue how he's going to end it, but I'm really excited to see how that ends. And we're still undecided on what we're reading next week for the podcast. So hopefully before I post this, I can put that
figure it out.
Yeah, I'll message you after. But that's all I got. So that's all I got. But do you have anything else before we get out of here?
No. Other than no, I'm good.
Other than
no. Because you know what I put myself through this week? I watched that X-Men anime.
Was it bad? I mean, you're laughing, so it can't be that good.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Like the animation and the art and the action sequences are dope, but it's just like, dude, Cyclops. It's so bad. It's so bad.
I won't.
Like whoever wrote this was like obviously like there's just so much like it just makes Cyclops look really bad.
Yeah, I don't even want to waste my time around.
But the art and the fight sequences are sick. Like are sick as hell. Sure. Especially with like Beast and Wolverine, and like just Cyclops like doing his thing. Actual like with their in fight is great. But when Cyclops opens his mouth, bro, you just want to smack him. Like snap out of it. Stop being like that. Stop it. You stop it right now. Pull your pants up.
All right, maybe I will check it out just to see how bad it is. All right, well, that's all we got this week. And if you're not already follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can follow Dylan at the Dillbot on Instagram. And throw your comments or suggestions down below, or you can email us thecomicloungepod@gmail.com. And make sure you like, follow, and subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time a new episode goes up. And on that note, we're out.
Later, buds.